today we are going to discuss about the respiratory physiology, and in respiratory physiology we will discuss the topic that is transport of carbon dioxide. And transport of carbon dioxide we will discuss regarding the intermediate level and even though at the bachelor's level too. So before going detail about the topic, there is the diagram that is not truly anatomically true, but the hypothetically it will assist you to understand the mechanism. This area is represented the peripheral circulation or peripheral tissues, and that area represented the pulmonary circulation and the pulmonary area. Or you can say the transport of carbon dioxide. In transport of carbon dioxide, what we have to do, all the time the body produces the carbon dioxide, we have to remove it from the body. So here is the I have mentioned the alveoli, lungs and pulmonary circulation, and this is the left and right heart. Even though there is no separate left and right heart present in the body, but hypothetically it will be mentioned right. It will receive the oxygenated blood from the lungs and it will deliver the deoxygenated blood towards the lungs. So first of all, the business and the transport of carbon dioxide, this business we will start from here. Like in this topic, to transport of carbon dioxide, we have to remove the excess of carbon dioxide which is formed or produced in our body. So what is the major mechanism, or you can say the major process through which the carbon dioxide produced in the body? So all the time cell produce the carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide which is produced classically during the aerobic respiration. As all of you know, in aerobic respiration the glucose is oxidized in the presence of oxygen and converted into the carbon dioxide and water. So all the time cell produce carbon dioxide which we have to eliminate through the body. So the cells constantly producing the carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide, so if the cells producing the carbon dioxide, so that's why the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide within the cell increases, So that carbon dioxide will shift from cells towards the interstitial fluid along the gradient. You can say the high partial pressure towards the low partial pressure. So carbon dioxide, first of all, it will generate within the cell and then shift towards the interstitial fluid. This is the interstitial fluid, or you can say the tissue fluid. Okay, what are the mechanism to remove or to shift the carbon dioxide from cell to the out? So this should be you should be known that carbon dioxide is more soluble, even though 25 to 27 times more soluble than oxygen. So there is no special mechanism, no special pumps or channels to transport the carbon dioxide out from the cell. So this is simply diffusion that you can say that drive the carbon dioxide from inside to the outside. So carbon dioxide come outside the cells in interstitial fluid. Now the carbon dioxide then comes towards the capillary fluid. This is the capillary, and these are the peripheral tissue, and these are the cells that constantly produce the carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide then shifted towards the capillary fluid. This is the third stage where the carbon dioxide is present. Now, actually, whatever the carbon dioxide is produced in our body, and it has to be eliminated through the respiratory passage. So we should know that carbon dioxide is more soluble than the oxygen, but not all the carbon dioxide is eliminated in the dissolved form or in the gaseous form. Why? Because if we want to carbon dioxide remove as carbon dioxide, like as the gaseous form or in the dissolved form, in the plasma form, in the plasma fluid, so we need very high pressures. So our body has not as much high pressures, so the carbon dioxide is not transported as carbon dioxide. This is important to know, that carbon dioxide is not transported, all the carbon dioxide is not transported as carbon dioxide, because our body cannot generate so much you can say the pressures. So there are the different forms through which carbon dioxide transform from outside the body. So what are these forms we will discuss later, but up to now you should know what is the, because whenever you discussing the transport of carbon dioxide, you must know the content of the carbon dioxide present in the body and then the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide in the body. So, okay, one more thing, what is the, in an average, in an adult human being or the normal physiological person, per minute how many carbon dioxide is provided towards the peripheral tissues? Like our heart pumps the blood, and you know, do you know the arterial side? This is the arterial side, this one is arterial side, and this is the venous side, and this is venous side. So, blood is transported from left heart towards aorta, and aorta carries the blood. Do you think in arterial side carbon dioxide is present? So, the answer is yes. A little amount of carbon dioxide is present also. So, the carbon dioxide which is present in the you can say the arterial side, or okay, not delivered, not we can say the amount of carbon dioxide which is present in the body, that is 200 milliliter, that is 200 milliliter. On average adult human being, the normal physiological human being per minute produce 200 total carbon dioxide in the peripheral tissues. That has to be eliminated. That has to be eliminated in different form, we will see later. Here is one concept that you should know how many oxygen delivered to the peripheral tissue per minute in a normal healthy person, and that is 250. So, this is oxygen and this is delivered towards the peripheral tissue is about 250 ml. If 250 oxygen is delivered, so the cell produces 200 milliliter of carbon dioxide. Here what I mean that you have to deliver oxygen, how many? 250 milliliter, and you produce how many carbon dioxide? You produce 200 milliliter carbon dioxide. Like you can see this oxygen appears in carbon dioxide. So, where is the 50 ml? 250 and 2, yes, where is the 50 ml? So, this difference, this is very logical answer, that of course water is also produced and some of the oxygen goes towards the with the water. So, on an average human being, normal physiological conditions, under the normal physiological circumstances, the peripheral oxygen supply is 250 ml and the peripheral carbon dioxide supply is the 200 ml. Total carbon dioxide content and total oxygen content. Now, you have to see the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide, because we have nothing with the oxygen right now, because our main topic or main discussion is about the transport of carbon dioxide. So, what is the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide present over there? Partial pressure of carbon dioxide in arterial side and partial pressure of the carbon dioxide in venous side. So, the partial pressure of the carbon dioxide present in arterial side is about, yes, 40, you can say 40 milliliter of mercury, 40 millimeter of mercury. Partial pressure of carbon dioxide in arterial side is about, yes, how many? 40 millimeter of mercury. So, you can say how many. Now, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in venous side is about 46 millimeter of mercury. So, you must be knowing the partial pressure. Actually, you should not confusing the partial pressures with the content or volume. Volume is something different thing and pressures are something different thing. So, you must be knowing the pressure in the arterial side. Pressure in the arterial side of carbon dioxide is 40 millimeter of mercury, and pressure of the carbon dioxide in venous side is 46 millimeter of mercury, because we have to remove the carbon dioxide out. So, of course, in the venous side pressure of the carbon dioxide is increased, and the arterial side pressure of the carbon dioxide is decreased, as the content of the carbon dioxide in arterial side is reduced, volume of the carbon dioxide. This is the pressures. Now, what about the volumes? We also have to learn about the volumes of the carbon dioxide, like how many carbon dioxide present in 1 dl, 1 deciliter, 100 ml, 100 ml blood, how many contain the carbon dioxide? So, this is about you can say the 48 milliliter per dl. The content of carbon dioxide in 100 ml, this is 48, and the figures may be varied through the intermediate books. 48 milliliter in 100 ml, in 100 ml, or you can say that deciliter, because 1 deciliter is equal to the 100 ml. So in arterial side, this is important to learn. In arterial side, per 100 ml blood contain how many carbon dioxide? It contains, yes, 48 ml. And what about the venous side? Carbon dioxide present in the venous side is about 52 milliliter per deciliter or 100 milliliter. So this is important. What does it mean? That the carbon dioxide in 100 ml of arterial side contain 40 ml and the carbon dioxide present in venous side in 100 ml blood is 52 ml. It's mean whenever blood passes through the peripheral tissues, it picks how many carbon dioxide? Yes, it picks 4 ml. It picks 4 ml in 100 ml blood. In 100 ml blood, because in future you can see and the different gases reports or respiratory gases. So you must be knowing about the figures of the pressures and the volume. These are the volumes. You must not be confused with the pressures with volumes. This volume is present in 100 ml of blood. The arterial side has the 48 ml. And again, I am repeating that in intermediate books, this figures is varies, but this is not the case. And in venous side, this is 52 ml in deciliter. It means whenever blood passes through the arterial side, it picks how many carbon dioxide? It picks 4 ml of carbon dioxide. That's why 42 and 4 is equal to 52 ml. So these are the general pressures and the volume content of the carbon dioxide, which you must be knowing about the respiratory gases of different, like of course oxygen has different pressures and volumes in per deciliter. So up to now what we have learned, that carbon dioxide constantly produced in the cells and constantly they shift towards the interstitial fluid and then towards the tissue fluids. And then the pressures in the arterial side is 40 millimeter of mercury and the venous side is 46 millimeter of mercury. And this is very logical that in arterial side the content of the carbon dioxide or the volume of the carbon dioxide is low, so the pressure is also low. And the same in the venous side, if the pressure volume of the carbon dioxide is increased, so the volume must be increased. So these are the figures you must be knowing. After that, by comparing these two figures, we can assume or we know that whenever blood passes to the peripheral tissues, it picks up how many carbon dioxide? 4 milliliter. Now the whole discussion would be on the 4 milliliter, that how we will remove this 4 milliliter in 100 ml of blood carbon dioxide throughout the body. Like, because I am already told you that 4 milliliter of carbon dioxide is not transported as carbon dioxide or as gaseous form or as in the dissolved form, because we have not such pressures to eliminate this 4 milliliter of carbon dioxide. So how we can remove the carbon dioxide out of the body? So there is the special role of the RBCs, and all of you know the red blood cells. Like, just suppose if this is a red blood cells, and red blood cells up to now might be possible, most of you know that our red blood cells are involved in the transport of oxygen, but red blood cells is also involved in the transport of carbon dioxide. Actually the RBCs, there is a hemoglobin molecule present in the RBCs. Like, you know, hemoglobin is the tetrameric molecule, that it has 4 pyrrole rings. Okay, 4 pyrrole rings and having the iron in between it, known as heme component, and then there is different globulin chains. So this monomer, this is one monomer actually, this is globulin chain, this is one monomer putting towards 4 monomers make the one hemoglobin molecule. So in our convenient, I would like to draw the hemoglobin molecule like this. So this is the hemoglobin molecule. Of course, this is one terminal where is amino group, and there is another terminal where is the, of course, carboxyl group, because this is a protein and all the proteins contain amino acid. These are the different amino acids. So this is the hemoglobin molecule present inside the RBCs, assisted in the transport of oxygen as well as assisted okay, I would mention the hemoglobin functions. minimum you should know that the hemoglobin involved in the transport of oxygen, and then you know that it also assists the transport of carbon dioxide. Two more functions hemoglobin performs. One is that it acts as a you can say buffers, protein buffers, like it regulate the acid base balance. You know, free protons are very dangerous to the cells. So the hemoglobin, whenever the protons concentration increase, it capture the protons, free protons. So it acts as a buffer. One more thing, whenever RBCs pass from the lungs, the little nitric oxide which came inside the alveoli, it attaches to the globulin chain, and ultimately then in the peripheral tissues it will use to dilate the arterioles. So it is uses as a vasodilator also. So these are the function of the hemoglobin. Now we will concern the function of hemoglobin of carbon dioxide transportation. So how carbon dioxide transport this 4 ml carbon dioxide transported, how much in the forms, the one role is played by the hemoglobin and RBCs. We will see out of this 4 ml hemoglobin, 5% of the carbon dioxide is removed as dissolved form, as carbon dioxide, dissolved form, as dissolved form, and 5% in the carbamino compounds, and 90% is not as the carbon dioxide, not as the carbamino compounds. So what is this? We will see later. First of all, I would like to explain what is carbamino compounds. Carbamino compounds, like little carbon dioxide attaches at the amino end in this form, making the hemoglobin as the carbamino hemoglobin. So these are the carbamino compounds. Even though carbon dioxide have very little affinity to interact with the different plasma proteins like albumin, fibrinogen, but the mostly affinity to react with the carbon dioxide with the hemoglobin. So this attached at the amino terminal, making the hemoglobin as the carbamino hemoglobin. So 5% in this form, 5% in dissolved form as carbon dioxide. So what is the 90%? So we will see how 90% travels. This is very easy, not so any rocket science to learn this one. Okay, this is the RBCs, and okay, this is cell. I have magnified this proportion. This is cell constantly produce the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide shifts in the interstitial fluid and then in the RBC. This is the capillary fluid. First of all, it will transfer to the interstitial fluid and then capillary fluid, then up to the RBCs, because partial pressure varies and the carbon dioxide moves along the partial pressure gradient. Once in the carbon dioxide pressure in the cells, there is an enzyme. There is the enzyme present in the RBCs, and these enzymes I will tell you name it later. Carbon dioxide, actually there is a respiration, and these enzymes love to fuse carbon dioxide with water molecule. Of course, there is a water molecule present over there. So this enzyme assisted this chemical reaction and convert the carbon dioxide and water molecule into a intermediate, which is H2CO3, and that is carbonic acid. So because all the time carbon dioxide and water is produced in the cells, and these enzymes, if this produce the carbonic acid, so this enzyme should be the carbonic anhydrase. This should be the carbonic anhydrase. After that, carbonic acid will split into the HCO3 and protons. These are bicarbonates. Now listen very carefully. These are free protons. And these free protons will captured by hemoglobin. So hemoglobin capture the free proton in amino acids, especially histidine amino acid residues has the capacity, because they are negative charged amino acid, so they have a love to capture the protons. So protons are captured by the hemoglobin. Now we will left with the bicarbonate. What bicarbonate doing? Actually, there is a special pump present in the membrane of the RBCs which throw bicarbonate out, So whenever the amount of bicarbonate produced, it throw the bicarbonate out. So cell retain the more positive charge inside, so cell become more positive. So this is very dangerous to the neutrality of the electrolytes. So we should